Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session of the Open Export series. How is your day going? I'm sure, I'm sure everyone is excited to be here with us today. It promises to be an interactive and an engaging session. And at the end of this session, we all are going to learn a lot that is going to help our business and things we can implement in our business immediately. So today's topic is logistics and supply chain challenges in global markets. And we have a very wonderful industry expert who has tremendous years of experience in this topic. So he's going to share with us his insight and everything that we need to know as related to this topic. Thank you. So I will just drive us through the agenda for the session. So first, we are going to start with introduction. Everyone is going to introduce themselves in the chat box. Introduce yourself, you tell us what you do, your agribusiness, and where you are based. Also, we briefly talk about African food change makers and our programs. And from there, everyone will be allowed to share their export stories. Let's know what are your challenges and how does this topic really relate to your business. And also that way, we'll be able to like rub mind learn from one another. Moving forward, we'll go into the speaker's presentation when we have our own very dear Dr. Obio Ramado, who will be taking us on the topic. After that, we have the Q&A and we will follow. Next is we'll connect with AFC and then the closing remarks. Okay, so please, before we meet you, we have interpretation ongoing. If you prefer to listen in French, kindly click on more, and from there you see interpretation. Once you see interpretation, select English to French. That way, you'll be able to listen in French. Thank you. So right now, let's get to introduce ourselves. Let's meet you. Let's make use of the chat box. Let's get to know your name, your country, and your agribusiness. I'll start with myself. My name is Bushra Abdurrahman. I am based here in Nigeria, and I am a program officer at African Food Change Makers. So please, let's drop our intro in the chat box. Let's get to meet you. Let's know where you are based. Let's know how your business is doing. What is the name of your business? What is your business is into? Please kindly share. Okay, I can see Jacqueline from Uganda. Hi, Jacqueline. It's a pleasure to meet with you today. I can also see Simon for Uganda. Hi, Simon. Thanks for joining the session. I can see Hamad for Somalia and Cynthia as well. Cynthia is from Tech Hub. Okay, so we have Olajide Ahmed Ishola. I guess it's from Nigeria. Also, we have Chika Cynthia. Okay, she's also from Nigeria, and her business is the Breathing Chika. We have Noradin Dayu, he's also from Nigeria. We have David from Kenya, Dagi from Nigeria. We have Ruby Rose, who is a Philippine, but currently joining from Nigeria. We have Farouk as well, joining from Nigeria. Okay, I can see there are a lot of people trying to introduce themselves, introduce their business. We are excited to meet with you all today. So moving forward, we want to check your pulse. We want to know how you feel at the moment. Let's get to know how you are feeling. So use your emoji that describe your feeling in the chat box. For me, I am happy. And so I'm just going to drop an emoji that speaks to that. So let's drop our emoji in the chat box. Let's know how you feel. How is it going with you today? Please drop it. I can see Ruby. Ruby is in love with the session. Okay, so let's keep our emoji coming in. And I can see more people still trying to introduce themselves. So briefly, we will talk about African food change makers. I believe many of us already know what we do at African food change makers. So African food change makers is a not-for-profit organization, and we are really keen on helping African agribusinesses to build a sustainable agribusiness that is able to feed Africa and the world at large. We know that some are medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of the food ecosystem in Africa, and these people are faced with different challenges from climate change to accessing the international market, to getting buyers for their business, to getting visibility for letting people to know them and what they do. And so that is why we are here to support. We are here to help these businesses with training, visibility, support, and market access to be able to scale their business beyond just the local settlement of where they are based. So this our platform is open to everyone across Africa. Either you're from Nigeria, you're from Ghana, you're from Kenya, you're from Uganda, you're from Egypt, wherever you are from in Africa, as far as your business is registered in an African country, so we have this stuff that supports you. You are not working in silo, you are not alone in the field. You can always rely on us to get support. Either you want to be trained or you need someone else who does something similar to what you are doing. You can always find and connect with them in African food chain makers. Okay, so and our mission is to enable African entrepreneurs to start and scale resilient and sustainable agribusiness that feed Africa and the world. And how do we do this? We provide training, funding opportunities, exposure, trade linkages, and fostering a vibrant community of change makers. Why a community? Once you register to our platform and you're a member of the community, you are able to chat and interact with agri-food entrepreneurs across everywhere in Africa. Either you need a machinery for your business, you can easily get someone in that community who can provide that for you. Or there's a challenge you're having on your farm, maybe it's a infestation or something, and you need someone who has probably gone through the same thing and have an experience to share on how to resolve the problem. You can find a reliable source on the platform. And also, we also set up different training, which I'll be moving forward to tell you about what are the kind of trainings we provide to agri SMEs to enable you to scale your business. Also on our hub, you can quickly visit afchub.org. There you find different opportunities, funding opportunities, be it international funding opportunities, regional funding opportunities, and local funding opportunities, which you can use to scale your business, into the next level. Our vision, we are not just doing all of this without a cost. The reason we are doing this is because we want to see a million successful and sustainable African agribusinesses that are transforming the food ecosystem and are recognized across the globe. We want the world to know that yes, Africa has food, Africa is feeding the world. We are contributing to the world at large, and we are not just dependent on the world. So briefly, I'll be talking about our programs, which we organize. We set up these business programs to actually help agribusinesses to scale their business. And the first of this is the building resilience against climate and environmental shocks. It is called the BREST program for short. This program aims to help businesses like yourself to solve the problem of climate change. We know currently everyone is going through climate effects on their business. So this program is going to help you to know what is climate change. Well, probably you've just been hearing about climate change and you don't know what it is fully about or how it impacts your business. So this program is going to expose you to what is climate change, what is it about, and how does it affect your business. And also from there, you also get to know how to mitigate the effects or the risk of climate change in your business to position your business in a better way so as not to be affected by climate change. Currently, the program is ongoing and an application is going to be open shortly, soon, for other people to enroll into the program. So just kindly watch out for our platform. Make sure you visit our social media handles regularly and also our website to know when the call for application is open so you can apply into the program. We still have 2 more to go for the year. We have Leading Africa Women in Food Fellowship. This program is a tremendous program that amplifies the voice of women in the agricultural sector. Oftentimes, when people hear about agriculture, we barely think about women. And meanwhile, women are the one contributing a large quota to the agricultural industry. So the program actually aims to amplify the business, the women in the agribusiness, to celebrate them, to champion their voices, and give them visibility. We want the world to see what our women are doing and appreciate them for it. And lastly, we are the Skilling Export Program. This program is built for you. We all have products. The majority of us have products, we have commodity that we are selling, and we are aiming to get it just outside of our local markets. We want to get this product into the international markets. We want this product to be seen outside of just our home country. So, which is why we have this program. This program is going to train you on how to export your business, all the knowledge you need to know about exporting, to write some documentation, preparing your products, getting your products ready, your product the certification you need, and all the custom requirements, what are the buyers agreements, everything you need to know about export. This program is going to expose it to you and also is to match you with international buyers for your business. And lastly, this is another or component of our organization. So the changing narratives. What we do basically here is to showcase African food, to celebrate it, to amplify it, let people know that we have food in Africa. And we have a podcast made on chocolate. You can agree with me that almost all of the chocolate you see in the world is originated from Africa because Africa is a major producer of cocoa. So we want people to know that yes, Africa is actually contributing to the world culinary landscape. So we have different podcasts. We have a Jollof documentary. We have podcasts on rooibos. We have podcasts on cola nuts and the likes. You can always visit our website to access all of these podcasts and listen to them. Also, while you listen, can you share with your community, share with your friends, share with your family, and let them also benefit from it. So now this is where we have the experience sharing. We want you to share with us your experience. Have you started exporting? If yes, if you're exporting, what are the challenges you face in your exports, in the export business? And also tell us your experience. How has it been for you? Also, it's not just if you're exporting. If you've also not started exporting, you're willing to export. What are the challenges that you feel is holding you back from exporting? Uh, as well as what experience have you had? Maybe you've gotten a buyer before, but you're unable to process, you were unable to proceed with the contract based on what was already there. So this is the time to talk. This is the opportunity to share with us. Let us know. Have you exported before? What are your challenges? Feel free, raise your hand and let's get to know it. So I'll be looking into the chat now to see whose hand is raised. Okay, I can't see anyone's hand up. Please let's raise our hand if you are willing to share. It's not a must, it's a success story. It can be something like it can be a challenge you've gone through. Here we have a lot of people here, and almost everyone is an expert enthusiast who can advise you and show you more light on or ways on how to go about your export endeavors. I'll just give us a minute into that before we proceed into the next segment of the program. Okay, I can see someone's hand is raised. Olubukola Eyola. So I'm asking you to unmute. Kindly unmute and let's hear from you.
Good afternoon, House. I'm Eniola Olubukola Elizabeth, the CEO of Rosanamo Limited. I'm into food processing, also into farming. I've been longing to export my products. I don't know how to get off takers. There was a time I tried to lay on someone to export my products, but unfortunately for me, the person went with my goods and I didn't have my money back. So that is my challenges in going further. And then I did exports, but not direct exports. I can call it indirect because the person I'm supplying in Dubai, he has his own agents that do the exports. I don't know how to put it. That do the delivery of the product to her. She just send the agent. I will deliver the goods to the agent. Then we know how to send it to the woman. So my challenges now is that I want to know how to do it on my own. I need help. I need practical help, not theory. I've had enough of theory in exporting. I've attended different seminars, different workshops by NFPC from different places. But my problem is still remain that the practical how to do the export, we still need it. Because being export class cannot help the matter. I've attended a lot of classes, but we need help Maybe they will make I don't know how to put it, but they will make maybe a class or let me put it, hand to hand exports training for us, not within the class alone. You cannot learn in the class and do exports. I've been on this thing more than 8 years. I could not help myself. Please, we need help. We need hand to hand. Let us do practical. We can make it. We can make ourselves a group of an exporter of agro foods. Then take us to the field. If we want to collect this so certificate, you, this group, will be in charge. You go to this so place and collect the certificate there. On this is so sworn, you, this group, will go, so that everybody will turn around all the places that we need to meet before we can export our products. I want us to cut all this long story short. I want them to help us, to let us go into practical, not class, not theory alone. We cannot export with theory classes. We need practical. They should help us. I love to do exports. I register my company because I want to do exports. Even I have not started processing foods when I register as an exporter. But till now, I'm not able to do anything. Please, we need help, not classroom help, the practical help. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Nubukola. It is really sad to hear that the person went away with your product. So sorry to hear that. And about the export practical class, please kindly watch out. I'm pleading. Please watch out for our website. Very soon we will be launching a program which is going to focus on practical aspects of export only, no theoretical aspect, no theoretical training this time. And also, please do get to attend all of these our OES sessions, because what this session does basically is to expose you to all of these, is to give you practical tips and also let you know what are the challenges that are being faced in the export market, and also provide you with solutions to these challenges. And I'm sure that at the end of this session, you will be more empowered on some practical skills on how to carry out exports. So sorry to hear again the story once again. So I'll call on Timothy Alabi. Kindly unmute and speak. Hi, Timothy. Okay, so while Timothy is on more responsive, we move to Ismail Adetoye. Hi, Ismail. Kindly unmute and speak.
Hello, good day, all.
Good evening.
Alhamdulillah. Once again, I'm
Sorry?
happy to be here. Hello, can we hear
We are
me?
struggling to hear Ismail. Could you please increase your voice?
Yes, it's raining here. It's raining cat and dog here.
Okay.
So I just want to re-echo what my sister has just mentioned. Nothing beats practical. No matter the theory, you people, you are doing so much for us. If you can do, you are doing so much for us. I'm even thinking of some of my colleagues, but on the word, all the food is done, allow it. So what I just want to mention is, like you rightly mentioned, that we'll be having a practical session. So it's the best. It's the best. And we are hoping to be there. Thank you very much.
Hi, Ismail. Please, we are struggling to hear you. Could you please speak up, speak louder? Hi, Ismail.
Can we hear
Okay,
me?
so unfortunately, okay, yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. What I said earlier was I wanted to echo what practicality beats any theory. So, like I mentioned earlier, what you people you are really know for. So we really appreciate all that you have been doing for us, the open access people, the training export programs, the training and other. We are really high. We learn so much. So we will also be willing or say hugging the
Hi, Ismail. Unfortunately, we are struggling to hear him. But I need the part where you said AFC is doing so much for entrepreneurs already in terms of SCP and YEDP. But please, just in time, could you please drop your comment in the chat box? I'm going to read it out and treat it for there, please, just to buy time. So sorry about your network challenge. Thank you. Okay, so I'll call on one more person. Hassan Amino, you have the floor.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is very okay. I'm very, very happy for this opportunity about African food change makers. So initially, I learned a lot. So my advice here is we need your help about the way that there is someone who talk about not issue of theory. We need practical aspect. We need practical aspect always. So we here in Nigeria, we need more experience about like issue of climate change. So climate change is the fundamental issue of diversion of agriculture. So my view here is we need practical aspect, not only theory. So this is my advice.
All right. Thank you so much, Hassan.
Are you with me, Ma?
We appreciate you for hearing your voice. Yes. So thank you so much. We appreciate you for hearing your voice, and we've actually taken note of that. Thank you. So because of time, we'll be moving straight into the next session of the. So I'm asking, based on the climate change that you mentioned, please also watch out for our BRACE program, that is Building Resilience Against Climate and Environmental Shocks. So that program is providing a lot of support to agribusinesses in aspect of climate. It's helping them know what climate change is about and also training them on how to mitigate the effects. I encourage you and everyone here to kindly go through this program. The call of application will be out soon. By next month, we are going to have our call of application running for the next batch of the program. So please do well to attend the program, to apply and attend for the programs. Thank you. So we'll be moving to the next session of today's program. So we'll be having on the virtual podium Dr. Obiora. Let's meet the speaker. Dr. Obiora Madu is the leading authority in logistics and supply chain management in Africa. With over 3 decades of experience spanning international trade, customs, transport, and supply chain strategy. He is the founder and the CEO of Multimix Academy and Director General of the African Center of Supply Chain, ACSC, where he drives research, education, and policy advocacy across the continent. He is an adjunct professor at the Malaysia University of Science and Technology, and he has played a key role in promoting logistics, education, and professional standards in Nigeria and Africa. He is a respectable keynote speaker. Dr. Madu has addressed industry leaders on critical issues such as logistic policy development, AI integration in supply chains, and positioning Africa as a global trade hub. He has authored several widely referenced books and is a recipient of Nigeria's National Productivity Order of Merit Award. He actively advocates for a national logistic policy and integration of technology like AI into the supply chain sector. His work bridges academia and industry, and he continues to lead impactful initiatives to strengthen the sector. His work bridges to strengthen the sector and making a key voice in shaping Africa's future supply chain. So with a better round of applause, please let's welcome Dr. Obiora. And from his bio, we could see that Dr. Obiora is not just in the supply chain sector, but is an expert and is also is a leading personnel when it comes to it in the academic field and also in the professional field. So which means he has a lot of insight and a wide range of experience, which is going to share with us today. Please and please, let's bring out our notes so we can just so that we can just key takeaways from the session. And also let's welcome him with a virtual round of applause. Please let's drop our applause in the chat box and also drop our reactions on the screen. When it comes so much, Dr. Obiora, and it is a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you, sir. We are honored. Over to you, Dr. Obiora.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for having me. I listened to the challenges that people complained of. It's a whole lot of things. It's not as easy as it ought to, but I guess you guys can assist them. There is a whole lot that needs to be done to really get SMEs to export across Africa, because Africa is about 20% of the world population. Africa's contribution to global trade is about 5%. And yet most of the natural resources and minerals are resident in Africa. So something must be wrong. And that thing that is wrong is part of what we are supposed to be discussing today, which is the logistics and supply chain challenges. There are challenges on the marketing side, which I will speak to briefly in the course of the program. So let me share. I think we've lost, okay, not lost, we've spent 33 minutes already. So how much time do I have?
Sir, you have an hour, sir, including the Q&A session.
Okay. All right, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can, sir. But it's not on presentation.
I know. All right, so logistics and supply chain challenges in global markets. Here are things that we are going to look at. The introduction, we'll look at logistics, we'll look at international logistics, then logistics and supply chain challenges. We'll look at supply chain resilience, which every company needs, no matter your size. We look at managing export logistics, then role of export new terminals, which Nigeria set up newly. I hope other African countries have. If they have not, they probably take a cue from there. So if you speak to every average exporter, he will tell you that his problem is markets. just like everybody have done here. But I can tell you that logistics challenges are also as heavy as the market, if not more. So, because if your logistics planning is not right, you cannot be competitive, and therefore you cannot make money. Making money is exactly why we're in business. And the challenges these days are disruptions due to pandemics, geopolitical tensions, pirates on the high sea, natural disasters, rising transport costs, regulatory complexities, and demand unpredictability. All these are issues with global logistics. I know that I'm not speaking to logisticians, but I know that without logistics and supply chain management, exports cannot happen. That's why everybody who is in export must get a bit of knowledge, enough to enable them to do their export transactions. So what is logistics? What is logistics? If I ask that question, majority of the people will talk about movement, which is transportation. But logistics is beyond movement. Logistics is also about storage, as we will see. So when you say logistics, two major activities you are talking about is the movement and storage. And these are the two places where most of your costs in export transactions are. Now, logistics is the process of moving and storing goods efficiently. It's not about putting the goods just in the warehouse. It is doing it efficiently. It ensures that the right items reach their destination on time. The process will include transportation, include warehousing, and then, of course, managing the inventory. No matter the level of your business, you have inventory to manage as long as you are in production. So, why is logistics important? Smooth operations. Logistics helps you to prevent stockouts, that is to make sure that at any point in time somebody is looking for your goods is available. And it will help to remove all bottlenecks in your supply chain. Logistics helps with customer satisfaction. What is customer satisfaction? We will see later. Timely delivery of products in good condition. Business focus allows companies to concentrate on core businesses. That is why you can actually continue to produce whatever you are producing, and a third party will be doing the movement and the warehousing for you. Global coordination. Companies like Apple and the rest of them, all of us here who are talking about export, we want to be all over the world. So that is why it's important. Let me explain why part of what challenge. Because of lack of logistics infrastructure, African companies are having difficulty to compete because of costs. Once you lack logistics infrastructure, costs will go up. At one point in time in Nigeria, it was cheaper to bring a container from China to Tinkan Island than to take it from Tinkan Island to Oba in Ikeja, in the same city. So that's what we are discussing. What are the key objectives of modern logistics? I just felt that this background is very necessary, that we can't jump into the challenges. The key objective of modern logistics is to balance cost and service excellence. That is to say, how can we reduce costs? But in reducing costs, we don't want to compromise customer service because the customer is king. Okay, so let's look at cost reduction. How do you do that? You optimize transportation routes to minimize fuel consumption. Streamline warehouse operations through automation technology. Reduce inventory carrying costs with improved forecasting. If your buyer could give you a range of what he needs in a year, it will help you to plan. Then, of course, consolidate shipments to maximize vehicle utilization. That's also the reason why they do what they call groupage. You have only 1/4 of a container. It doesn't make sense for you to put it in a whole container and ship it alone. What you have done, if you do that, is that you have increased the price of the product because it's about the total freight divided by the quantity of what is inside. So then the customer service side ensures timely delivery to meet customers' expectation, providing real-time tracking information for transparency. Today, no shipping company there's no shipping company that does not have tracking facility. If you don't have it now, nobody will put their goods on there. So that helps the customer to be sure that the goods are on the way and then follow it. Maintains product quality throughout the supply chain, enables rapid response to changing market demands. I've been in international trade and logistics in the last almost 4 decades. So I know where the shoe pinches. Now, this is what we call the logistics and supply chain mission. This is what your customer is asking for. So please take note of this. For example, he wants the right product. If the customer asks for a certain quality, that is exactly what you are going to deliver to him. He wants the right quantity. If the customer asks for 1,000 cartons and you send 999, you have failed. You want them in the right condition. It must arrive undamaged. If it's, for example, fruits, canned fruits, it has to arrive fresh. That means cold chain will have to be involved. They want it in the right place. One thing some people don't understand in export is that if you do not tell, if a buyer does not mention exactly where he wants his product, the seller has the right to drop it anywhere in his country. So that is, when you're exporting, you ensure that the guy gives you exact place where you should go. Then delivered at the right time, because the customer has timing when he needs the product. Then also delivered to the right customer, because we've seen situations where goods were delivered to the wrong customer. And then also at the right price. You see, the thing about this right, there are 7 of them, is that 9 over 10, if you score 9 over 10, you score 0. And the reason why it is like that is because anyone that you fail, you have failed completely. So if you are preparing your product, you are preparing to ship to a customer, these rights, you have to consider them. If you fail any one of them, you have failed the entire transaction. I was talking about warehousing and transportation. A lot of people think that transportation is just the only element that you need for logistics efficiency. Look at the diagram in your screen. In the circle by the left, transport cost is the blue. Others. Now, look at what makes up that others. Warehousing, inventory carrying, order processing, and administrative. So other transport, you manage movement. Under other things that are related to your products, you manage time, you manage information, you manage process. I just hope that I'm breaking this thing down to the extent that we are following. I would like, if I am communicating and you're following, please say something on the chat. This is called logistics fragmentation. And look at a domestic transaction. Let's say you buy from Kenya and then send or produce in Kenya, in Nairobi, and then you send to Mombasa. That's a domestic transaction. One truck in between and the goods arrive at their destination. But look at what we have below. This is the global, this is the one we are talking about. This is the exporter side on the left, the importer side on the right. Almost everything is duplicated. There's customs, there's bank, there's carrier, there is either the broker or the forwarder on both sides of the transaction. So it means that anybody in this very scattered diagram can ruin the transaction. That's why relationship management is very, very key. Very, very key. So we're going to be looking at the challenges. We'll look at a bit of Incoterms. We will look at how do you really knock out cost? Because I've been talking about cost. How do you remove the cost as much as you can from the transactions? These are some of the challenges that we have right now in global supply chain. Volatility and uncertainty. Just a few days ago, there's a war, or what else you want to call it, between Israel and Iran. Those who were planning their export from anywhere or to those two countries did not factor that in. That is the uncertainty aspect of it and the volatility aspect of it. So geopolitical events, economic fluctuations, natural disasters, pandemics. The other one is rising costs, fuel price, labor costs, warehousing expenses. Then, of course, complexity of regulation. So people are tired. How many documents will I fill? Because in international trade and international logistics, compliance is the name of the game. And we will look at compliance as we go. So you have to comply with your country, comply with the other country. Because depending on the Incoterms you use, you could actually be responsible for the goods until they get into the warehouse of the buyer. It depends on the terms you agreed to. Then, of course, infrastructure deficiencies, poor roads, port congestion, limited air cargo capacity in some regions. Yeah, because globally, about 90%, almost 90% of all goods moving globally move by sea. For obvious reasons, cost. Then visibility and transparency, tracking and tracing, one of the problems we are facing in Africa. Warehouses are not registered. So even when a product have challenge, we can't trace where those things are coming from. One of the reasons Nigerian beans is currently cannot enter Europe currently. Then sustainability pressures are coming from everywhere. There are people who will not buy your product if they find any element of unsustainable acts or activities in your organization. Then generally there are talent shortages. Lack of skilled professionals in logistics and supply chain management is a big deal. Actually, if we don't scale up in that direction, we will have a challenge getting African Continental Free Trade Agreement to work. So let's look at the first challenge, customs and regulatory compliance. Each country has its own set of import and export regulations, tariffs, duties, and trade agreements. I'm sure that almost everybody here will know about AGOA. AGOA is a duty-free, quota-free agreement with the US to move about 6,400 items from sub-Saharan Africa. It is expiring in September. Only God knows if Trump is going to renew it. If he doesn't, it will hit some African countries. But for those who were not benefiting, there's nothing to worry about. Then documentation. Compliance in documentation is key. For example, somebody asked for 3/3 bill of lading. That's 3 negotiable and 3 non-negotiable copies of bill of lading. And then you bring 2/3, you have a challenge. In fact, in documentation, misspelling the name of the buyer can delay your product. There was some time in Nigeria, somebody imported a Suzuki 500cc. During clearing, they found that one of the documents of that shipment was written Suzuki 500C. The second C was not there. That C alone delayed that product in there. So documentation is very, very critical. And every exporter needs to understand it because it can delay your shipment. If it doesn't delay it at origin, it could delay it at destination. I worked in the bank on the export desk for 10 years. So I've received documents, I've handled clients. So I understand how difficult it is for companies within Africa to achieve clear-cut, correct documentation. Because everybody thinks it's not to fill form, put documents together. But the issue is that those documents are your money. Those documents are your money. You can't play with them. The buyer and the seller, most of the time, they don't know each other. It is documents that speak. Then restricted and prohibited items. Every country has restricted and prohibited items. So you have to be familiar with it. So you don't carry something that is prohibited and say you are exporting it to somewhere. It will not cross. Then policies change also within countries. Second one is transportation infrastructure. Mode selection. International logistics often revolves around multimodal, either air, sea, rail, road. But like I said, sea mostly. Why do you go by sea? If you put a container on an aircraft, on a cargo aircraft, by the time you finish, your principal would have also gone. So you have to decide, should we do it by air? Then, of course, sea is certain. Then railroad can also apply. For example, in East Africa, I know that the entire East Africa is connected by rail. So a particular shipment can actually go through sea, go through rail, go through road, which is what we call multimodalism in logistics. Then transport costs. The other one is infrastructure constraint, delivery delays. Our ports are not efficient. So you take your product there. So So many days, the product is still at the port. For those who are importing, it is the same challenge. Then, of course, last mile connectivity. Supply chain visibility, I talked about track and trace before. That is very, very important for your transactions. Very, very important. Collaboration is required between you and the seller and the buyer when you are doing transactions. Risk management. Theft and damage can happen to your products. If you are doing food items that are ready for consumption, a hungry person can grab part of it and eat. And then, of course, if not well managed, I know of a transaction that is sliced fruits in a container, and it was marked store away from heat, don't keep it close to heat. But they took the container and kept it beside the engine. Before it got to its destination, 25% of the product was gone. So you need to anticipate all these things and take care of them. Geopolitical factors, natural disasters, these are risks that you can plan against. I'll give you an example. I think it happened in 2003 and it's happening again. It happened again in 2005. That is the Suez Canal blockade. Suez Canal blockade was a big challenge. So ships that would have passed through Suez Canal and then come through Morocco down to West Africa had to go down the Cape Coast through South Africa and then come up before. So and that movement is longer. And when it is longer, it is money that is involved. So your cost is increased. So you need to, and let me explain. Suez Canal, you hear people talk about it. They are narrow spaces, not as open as the sea. Like there are shortcuts through which you can bypass a long distance and go. Of course, you pay more, there's money is paid for that to happen. So that is also part of the reducing your cost. One thing that is very, very certain is disruptions, supply chain disruptions. They will continue to happen. It can be a country, it can be policies that come against what you are doing. So it might result to a country can do something that will cause you to reroute your product to another place. Other things that are happening are like cybersecurity vulnerabilities, targeting small suppliers. It can be very, very dangerous. When it hit Maersk Line, it destroyed, I think, about 4,000 laptops and disrupted movement of 70 ships. That is cybersecurity issues. So when you hear it, it looks like well, they're just talking, but anybody can be a victim. So managing supply chain disruptions, 2025 outlook, continuous monitoring, real time. I can tell you that what is happening between Israel and Iran right now is already making some exporters who go through that route very uncomfortable. And they're thinking of how do we reroute these shipments to where it's going. If it is going directly to those countries, that's still a challenge. The other thing, somebody talked about climate issues, climate adaptation, diversifying suppliers and building resilient infrastructure. Digital security, we need to build that in. That very particular one that attacked Maersk came with, it's from an accounting software. It's from an accounting software, I think from Ukraine. So digital security, you need to do something about it. Then please develop your workforce, train your people. If you don't train them, don't blame them. I just mentioned the Red Sea crisis, the Suez Canal. If you look at your right, you will see, because it was blocked, vessels.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, nous allons continuer avec l'interprétation. Ici, nous allons parler de...
Hello? Sorry, doctor, please go ahead.
Oh, okay. So if you look at the picture, you see these vessels could easily go down South Africa and pass. But the fact is that if you understand what going that distance means, you can see that some of them waited for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days before they could clear the Suez Canal for them to move. Your product could be in one of these vessels. So being flexible is one of the things that will help us. Implementing technology will help us with visibility. Because if you have visibility, for example, if if a vessel now decides to change direction, you will know. They will let you know. You will know the cost element. Collaboration is very, very key in international trade. There's no way you need to collaborate with everybody, the service provider, the buyer, to make transactions happen. Then you need to plan risk. Anything can happen. A client was sending goods by air to a particular country from the US. 9/11 came. After that attack, the whole airspace was sealed for quite some time. So what does it mean? Since it's only air transportation that he uses, he had to stop production. So risk planning, very, very important. Resilience is ability to bounce back from a challenge and thrive. Resilience is what we need to, as business people, to plan into our business, no matter the type of business that you are doing. Resilience will enable you to pivot just to continue to thrive. So resilience is very, very important. And supply chain resilience helps companies to anticipate, to adapt, and to recover from disruptions. It is your defense against natural disasters, pandemic, and political instability. While everybody was complaining during COVID, some people were getting alerts while there was a lockdown. COVID destroyed some industries, but was a blessing to some other industries. So many people in that industry where it was a blessing were not able to gain because they were not ready. Now, let's talk about, we mentioned transportation. What are the things that you consider in choosing the transportation mode that you are going to use to do transactions? The first thing is speed. Let's say you want to ship to somewhere in Asia. You want to find out from the shipping company, how long does it take to ship to that very place? That's where speed comes into play. The other thing you consider is cost. We can't do that by air, even though it is something that is not too heavy, but we can't do it by air. Then the nature of the commodity, if it is perishable, you must go by air. If it is not, then you can manage sea. There are other things like transport legislation, physical environment, like temperature. If it is an item that requires temperature control, then you will put that item for example, in a reefer container rather than in an ordinary container. The other thing to consider is the packaging and what is the capability of the transporter. It is not every transporter that you see you want to do business with. These very particular considerations are very, very important before you ship your goods. You may say, what is my concern with all this? Fine, if you have a freight forwarder who is sound enough to be able to take care of all these things, you just ask him questions, he answers. If he gives you the confidence that he knows it and that you don't have any challenge, you can go on. Managing export logistics. International trade relies on efficient export logistics. Global goods exports have reached $18 trillion in value for 2024. So much is going on. We need to get a chunk of this. First thing I want to talk about here is understanding Incoterms. You hear about FOB, you hear about CIF, you hear about, there are 11 of them. Please, if you are in export or you want to go into export, go and go on the net, find Incoterms. It is on sale. You can buy it online. If you are in any country you want to buy, you can go to the International Chamber of Commerce, wherever they are located in your country. In Lagos, they are in Necker House. Buy the Incoterms because you need it. It is the navigating tool for international trade. The reason is that that is what determines at what point the goods will stop belonging to the seller and move to the buyer. It will determine who is supposed to bear the cost at every point in time. It will determine where delivery has been made. I'll give a little explanations for this. So that's what Incoterm covered: transportation arrangement, risk, and then cost allocation. That's what I tried to explain. Issues of insurance, because once the risk moves from the seller to the buyer, any insurance issue becomes the buyer's business, not the seller's business, even if it's at the port of origin. Even if it's at the port of origin. So here are the Incoterms here: FOB, CFR, CIF. Of course, you have FAS, you have X-Works, and the rest of them. We can't break this down completely in this short time that we have, because there's a lot to talk about. So we can't spend so much time. There are 11 Incoterms, and some are used for the sea. Some are used for air and other modes of transport. For example, look at FOB, free on board. Seller delivers goods on board the vessel. Risk transfers when goods cross the ship rail. So, cost, insurance, and freight, we know seller pays shipping and insurance to destination port. Risk transfers when goods are loaded, even though he has paid to destination. Like this one is delivered duty paid, a situation where you are doing door to door. The customer and you have agreed that you will deliver the goods to his warehouse, wherever it is, whichever country he is. What it means is that you ship the goods from here, you have to get a freight forwarder who will clear the goods at the other end, pay duty, and then also deliver it to the client's warehouse. These are terms, and that's why you need to understand it, so that when they offer you any one, you will choose the one that will be convenient for you. Key takeaway: Incoterms streamlines international transactions. It manages risk, It prevents dispute. Because if something happens to a transaction and there's no Incoterms attached to it, all you are going to be doing is to be swearing and talking. At the end of the day, you guys cannot get anywhere. But once there's an Incoterm, we know who is responsible. We know who the goods have been, the title of the goods belong to at that point, and the rest of them. So that's what Incoterm does. So in your shipping, which is actually the logistics, knowledge of it can do a lot of good to you. Key steps in export logistics process: product preparation. Then you plan your transport, handle the cargo by moving it to the port. Then the next thing is customs processing, handling, clearance procedure, and then you start to track your shipment. That's exactly what is going on by your left. This is very, very critical, choosing logistics partners. Freight forwarders are people that within African context we call clearing and forwarding. They coordinate shipments and handle documentation. They are different from custom brokers, who are like custom regulation consultants, who are very vast with custom regulation. But what we have in Africa is that same people are acting both as freight forwarders and custom brokers. The worst thing that can happen to you is to choose the wrong freight forwarder. Some of us know what is referred to as the HS code. Your freight forwarder chooses a wrong HS code for transaction, it can put you into trouble. It can increase duty for the buyer in his own country. Then there are other partners you need, carriers, vessels. We have discussed that, how you need to choose. Then, of course, last mile providers. If you are delivering to the customer's warehouse under DPP, then, of course, last mile will be your wahala. So let's look at how to slash prices, reduce cost out of what you do. Optimize route planning. There are two vessels. One will pass through a longer route and you pay more. And there's another vessel that is going to pass through a shorter route and you pay less. It's your choice. But you can optimize route planning. Consolidation and groupage, I talked about it. You have goods that will will occupy only 1/4 of a container. There are companies that are specialists, groupage specialists. They will find 3 other people who have 1/4 container like yourself, put the 4 of them there, issue the necessary documentation, it gets to destination, and everybody picks his own goods. The beneficiaries will pick it up one by one. Then, of course, if you are told about the cost, you have a right to negotiate. Negotiate with then Incoterms.
Hi, Dr. Obiora. Hi, Doctor. Okay, so hi everyone. I guess there's a bit of network challenge at doctor's end. Let's just give a minute or two. He should be back with us. But when we wait for doctors to join back, please, if you have questions already, kindly start dropping them in the chat box so that once he comes back, we can round up and then he can proceed to take your questions. Thank you. Hi, Dr. Biora. Please call. I can see your back in the call. Please confirm if you can hear us.
Hello.
We can hear you now, sir. Welcome back.
It's a network. I had to switch internet. I don't know the point where you lost me.
Hi, Doctor.
Can
It was at
someone
the point
respond
when
so
you're
that I
talking
know?
about cost management. It was at the point when you're talking about effective cost management and the options that can be explored to slash prices or costs. Thank you.
So just to
So it's the network is still really bad. We can't hear you. Your voice is kind of breaking in between. Welcome back, Doctor. Sorry, it's a Nigeria factor. Sorry about the network glitch.
Just unfortunate. So let me try and run faster.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The network is perfect now. Thank you, sir.
The second part of slashing your shipping costs, key strategies for expedited accurate documentation. I talked about documentation before, and I also talked about pre-clearance programs. Customs, let me just emphasize one thing here to all people who intend to go into export. Please ensure that the buyer, your buyer appoints an inspection agent in your country to inspect your goods before they go. If you keep silent about that, completely insist. There are international recognized inspection agents, SGS, Bureau Veritas, and the rest of them. And so that once the inspection agent says that the quality of what you are shipping conforms with what the buyer is asking, you are free. So please take note of that. Compliance. There is documentation compliance. There are logistics compliance. There are several types of compliance that are involved in international trade. That if you comply with everything, then you're good to go. Getting your goods on board as an exporter will be a problem. For those who are involved in importing raw materials for their products, clearing your goods will also be will not be a problem. So adhering to all relevant laws, regulation, standards, and the internal policies related to logistics and trade, that is what compliance is. So the benefits of strong compliance include it will reduce delays and penalties, smoother custom clearance, enhanced reputation, because when you hear in import that some people are in the red, some people are in the amber, some people are in green, and others are in blue, It's actually compliance that puts them wherever it is they are. Then it helps with risk management and then also improve supply chain security. Key compliance areas: trade regulation, tariffs, and quotas. If a particular product you are sending, the duty is 5% in the country of your buyer, but you choose an HS code that is 25% duty in his country, what you have done is that you have put him into trouble. So that's why we must be. The other things are custom laws, safety regulations, environmental regulations, documentation requirements. These are all the things you must comply in. Now, let's talk about finding markets. But I want to say to those who are planning to export that most of the time, as an export consultant, people have come to me. One guy came to me and said that market, and then I asked him a question. If I pull a contract out of my drawer now, sign it with you, and then where is the product? I want us to travel now to where the product is. And at the end of the day, what did I find out? The products were not there. So it is beyond the market for export. It's a whole lot of things. Every exporter is as strong as his supply base. You have to be able to tidy that out. You have to consider the logistics elements and the cost implications and everything. So finding and securing reliable buyers for export involves market research and target identification. For example, if you're doing cashew nut, Vietnam, India, you have to know, you have to have an idea about which countries you're this thing. For those who are doing pure food, like food, most food that we are doing are actually heading for diaspora Africans, diaspora and Africans. So, and let me also say that this very food export requires extra work. It requires extra work. That is what I think this very particular organization should help people with, because many a time it's not up to a container. Prices are not quoted in the international market, and a whole lot of challenges. So for you, you have to do your costing completely from ground zero. So channels for buyer sourcing: trade shows and exhibitions. I know that NEPC takes a couple of people to trade fairs. There are food shows. I think there's one in Dubai that usually comes up in February, and others. There AfriExim has organized a lot of African trade shows and trade fairs. Online B2B platforms like Alibaba, Amazon Business, and then specific industry platforms. Even locally, industry associations. You belong to industry associations, some of them are strong enough to provide a market. The other one is chambers of commerce, networking opportunities and connections to international business. Export promotion agencies. The embassies of every country is a very good source of, because the role of the commercial department of the embassy is to sell products from their country. So they are a veritable source for, but unfortunately, so many African countries have no commercial desk in their embassies across the world. So these are part of the challenges. Then, of course, there are also market entry consultants who provide professional services for identifying and vetting markets. These are the closest one that you can have if you identify them. You have to be careful about briefcase consultants. You have to be very, very careful about it, because I've seen people mess other people up in the name of finding market for them. Due diligence. Even when somebody contacts you from abroad, due diligence is very, very necessary. Do credit checks, financial assessment, references and reputation. They said there are 2 young Nigerians who exported wood. When they call the guy asked them, which mode of payment do you want to use? They said anyone. Signal to the guy that these guys don't understand what they're doing. And he took advantage of them. 2 containers, about $37,000. They lost it. No credit checks, no reference and reputation. So contracts. If you do not trust who you are dealing with, insist on something. For example, you don't trust the person, ask for a letter of credit. If he's strong enough to give you a letter of credit, export. Because when a letter of credit is issued, it is the bank that takes over authority to pay, shift to the bank. That's payment security. Look at it here. Using letters of credit. Then, of course, building long relationship. Exporters will normally send goods to people, and they don't care what happens. I've asked an exporter, what of your buyer about the goods? You said, they say, how does it concern me again? I've collected my money. So what it means is that he doesn't have plan for any other future transaction. Now let's talk about the role of the new export terminals. Because exporters were beginning to encounter a lot of problems. Government have been talking about diversification to oil export and the rest of them. And then this new export, the first one is in Lily Pond. As you are going into Apapa, the first descent. Part of the reason is to reduce congestion, so that all those challenges you have in Apapa or Tinkan, once you go to the export, once your goods are ready from there, they have a way of getting it straight into the vessel. Alleviating port congestion and enhancing capacity. Then improving efficiency. They have modern facilities. They have warehouses if you want to store your goods. They have warehouses where you can process your export. Then enhance connectivity, better road and rail links. Then increase storage capacity. You can use their warehouse. The other one I want to talk about is the inland container bases. If you are in the north, for example, you are in Kano, you are in Kaduna, you don't have to bring your goods down to come and put in warehouse in Lagos and then start struggling. You can finish in Dalal in Kano and then Kaduna inland this thing. And everything is done and the container is sealed. So it moves straight from there into the port. That will help reduce your logistics costs drastically. Then, of course, the regulatory compliance issues, they help too. And then security enhancement for your goods. So these are the roles that the new exporter, I don't know how many African countries have it, because I noticed that there are people from across Africa. So those who do not have it, they need to make export a priority, then they probably need to adopt it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Biera. This is a very insightful and impactful session. Please, we have just one more minute so we can transition into the Q&A session. Thank you, sir.
Okay, actually, this is the second. I think this is my last slide, so you just came in on time. Best practices and conclusion. Stay regulation current. Stay regulation current. Regulations locally and internationally. For example, we're talking about Incoterms. Incoterms change after every 10 years. What we're using now is Incoterms 2000. 2020. We had Incoterms 2010. We had Incoterms 2000. So you have to be, then for example, in your country, there are circulars from central bank here and there that affects you. There are also issues from export promotion agencies and stuff. Stay current with it. Then build strong partnership. Develop relationship with experienced logistics providers, commodity associations, and the rest of them. Then optimize processes, balance cost and speed. So I don't know how far, because this is a lot of logistics, but I had to infuse in a couple of export issues into it, and I hope it has been useful. Thank you for your time. That's my contact for those who might want to reach me. Of course, I've done 10 books. 5 of them are on export, and they are online. So thank you very much. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Ubiora. It's actually an insightful session on logistic challenges in international trade. And I'm sure that we all can agree that we've learned more about the challenges and other ways in which we can improve our logistics barriers in the international trade. So up next, we are going to the Q&A session. We have some questions already that have been dropped in the chat box. I'm going to read them out to you one after the other. And also, we can also let's start with that first before we proceed to before we allow other people to speak. So the first one came in from Amanda in Tembo. She said, how affordable is insurance against all of these challenges?
Hello.
Hi, Doctor.
So what did you say? Sorry.
Okay, so Amanda Tembo, she asked the question. She said, how affordable is insurance against challenges? Like these logistic challenges that exporters face, what amount of it can insurance cover? Maybe in terms of theft, in terms of spillage on the sea and the likes. How much can insurance cover while exporting?
It is difficult to say that this is exactly what it is. It depends. That's where, again, for example, the chambers of commerce have export group, and as a group, they can get certain discounts, that's why I encourage a lot of collaboration. Either you join a chamber or join commodity associations, you will have reduced your cost drastically, because they can also be performing it to 2 or 3, 4 members at the same time. So the issue of cost is about collaboration to reduce it, because cost is obviously the main challenge to your export, making it incompetitive.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I'm sure
we have
Amanda
hands,
has
and I think we also have questions.
Yeah, so we have another question also from Chukwuwe Ike. He said, how do we find out what goods are exportable, and how can we know the standard? Is that a source for information? I believe this one is not really tailored into today's discussion, but also there are a lot of online platforms where they can get responses. Okay, Doctor.
We have two hands. You want to allow them to ask their questions, or you want it on the platform, on the chat?
So we are doing both, just that during the course of the presentation, some persons already dropped their questions on the chat box.
There's somebody says, Chukwuweke says, must export be done from Apapa and the ports in other states? Let me answer. It must not. Exports are being done from different terminals in Port Harcourt. Exports were also being done from Calabar. So if you're in the east, of course, you can do your transaction through any of these ports in the southeast. So it's not, and like if you are in the north also, you can export from those places I mentioned, from inland container in Kaduna, and then from Dalal in Kano. You actually finish your export there. Your container is sealed. So somebody said, are there ports in the eastern? Of course, I've answered that. Somebody said he's looking for partners.
Hi, Doctor. So
Yeah, I'm
there's
looking
another
for
question
questions.
also here also.
Let's take
So I
those
have
who
the
raised their hand.
questions.
You have the
Okay.
questions. Okay, if you have
So I have
questions,
someone
read.
from the chat box.
Ask the
Okay,
questions.
so the question actually came from Olufunke and Jay. She
Okay.
said, then doctor, this is concerning group page and freight forwarder. I did the consignment to the US with a group of women last year. Our freight forwarder was paid his dues before the good left Nigeria, but the freight forwarder made way 7,000 USD, which is meant to be paid to the warehouse in New Jersey. And then he shut down his office in Yaba. Until now, we could not track him. He couldn't be traced. How do we forestall this kind of negative occurrence? They did a group page to send a product to the US and paid the freight forwarder a service charge, but yet he still sold 7,000, which was meant to be paid to the warehouse in the US.
Number one point would be due diligence. Who is this freight forwarder? Look, the more in export and commodity business, that's where you find the most unserious people. So you must open your eyes. There are two freight forwarding associations. Please take note. In Nigeria, I don't know the ones, but every other country has. In fact, East Africa even has one association. So the other one is Association of Nigerian Clearing and Forwarding Agents. The other one is Nigerian NAGAF, Nigerian Licensed Freight Forwarder. So if you got this guy from any of these associations, you won't be looking for him now. So I sounded that because there are a lot of people carrying briefcase and claiming they will do what they cannot do. They can even give it to you cheaper. So it's unfortunate, but it is absolute lack of due diligence and how you got the person that has put us in this situation. So
okay,
maybe check if the person belong to, but the person won't belong to any of those associations at all. So let's take the next question. Hello.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor, for that. So please, I got the first one, but I wanted to take the second one again, the Association of the for the Freight Forwarder. I got the first one you mentioned, but I didn't get the second one. Could you please take that again so everyone can jot it?
About the freight forwarder. Okay.
Yes, I got the Association of
abbreviation.
Nigerian Clearing and Forwarding.
Okay. Association of Nigerian Licensed Custom Agents.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay, so I will call on Nusa Alunge. Nusa Alunge, kindly unmute to ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, good evening, sir. So just a quick question. I'm looking for good shippers, good, reliable shippers who leave on time, who leave when they say they will leave. Ocean shippers, because I export predominantly to the US. We manufacture spices, so we're on Amazon. So, but the issue that we're having is logistics. So, the shippers that we use, because basically it's we cannot yet fill a container by ourselves. So we have to do like group You know,
Groupage,
we have to
yeah.
wait for, for the shippers to fill the container with other customers of theirs. So by the time they fill the container, the time that they've given you that they'll depart, probably months have passed, before they'll finally depart. And, it's also, we're looking for reliable shippers that will leave when they say they'll leave, not that they'll give you a time or they'll give you a date. Okay, we'll leave in 2 weeks, and they'll end up leaving in like 2 months, basically.
Which company are you currently using?
Ship to Niger. And then, so we left them, and then we used one company called Afrimo. So
Okay,
those two.
Can you try Holblight?
Do what? Sorry?
Holblight, Hullblight. Holblight, they are in Apapa.
HU.
Hull, HULL.
Yeah.
BLIGHT, Holblight. You can also Google them. They are very, very good with groupages.
Okay. Holblight.
Yes.
Okay, sir. All right, sir. Holblight. All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Please, even when you find them, do due diligence.
I will do so.
It's always important because they used to be, it's a long-standing shipping company. They used to be Elder Dempster.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right.
Moshood.
Thank you so much, Halunge, for that. So, Moshood, please proceed to ask your question. Hi, Moshood. You are muted.
Hello, hi, can you hear me? Yes, sir.
Yes, we
Doctor, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much for the enlightenment. In fact, I think this workshop is basically, came out because of me. I was so lucky a few months ago. I was trying to export. This is my first time. And unfortunately, I got a deal to export 2,000 tons of cashew nuts. And can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
So I just received back the LOE letter now that was signed by the buyer now. And the terms coming after it, I couldn't even understand. I need a help so that I'll be able to make this deal. And they are looking for a long-term relationship. And I want to prove to them that we can do it. And because I'm ready to make it done. So I need a help. I will need your number for further clarification and some other assistance so that this deal will be made, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, find out from the organizers if they will share the slide. If they share the slide, there's a contact page there. So talk to the organizers at the end of the program.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you for that. So once we get the doctor's slide, we are going to, at the end of the session, we will send an email which is going to contain the slide and also the recording of the session, which everyone can always visit after the session. I can see we don't have any more answers at the moment. So
there are some long
in the course
questions,
of that,
but I think some of them are like suggestions and not very direct question. How can a buyer identify real buyer from the fake buyers? Due diligence. Due diligence. There's what is called trade lead sites. Trade lead sites. If you put it on Google, it will give you. There are paid trade lead sites. There are free trade lead sites. Even if you go to Alibaba, there are some free. The free section is free for everybody. Once you want to, you go to the paid site and you pay, you get specialized services. So from those kind of places, you can't get fake buyers. I think there are, how many hands? Are you taking them?
So we have, Wow, the hands keep increasing. Currently, we have 5 hands raised.
Okay.
We have Bukola, Nuruddin, Felicita. We have 4. Okay, someone has dropped. So we have 4 hands raised at the moment. So I think we can just proceed with these 4 questions, and after that, we'll put it for the questions. Or Doctor, how do you prepare it, sir? Okay,
What
I
did you
said we
say?
should proceed to take the questions now. We have 4 hands raised at the moment, so I'm going to call on them one
Let's
after the other.
take them. Let's take them. Let's take them.
Yes.
I'll be very
So
fast about it.
okay, thank you, sir. Olubukola Eniola, please unmute and ask your question.
Thank you. I want to appreciate Dr. Obiora for this broad training. Really appreciate you, sir. My own is not question per se. It's just a suggestion. I've said something about it earlier, so I want to try to make emphasis if it is possible. I just want to suggest that we have a SME group exporter, that we can do everything. We can start doing it together as a group, not as individual. So I don't know if it is possible, so that we can learn from each other. Then after then, I think everybody will be able to stand on their own and do export, because I'm still on it to just go ahead and do export like that without proper understanding. It will always end in.
Okay, Bukola, for years I tried to promote cooperative exporting.
Something serious negatively. That is it possible?
Yes, it is possible, cooperative exporting. But the fact is that our DNA does not allow working together, unfortunately, because some of them came close to functioning, somehow they got scattered. So it is something that is very, very possible, particularly if it is formed as a cooperative and everybody stays to do their business, but have an export manager to manage that very particular transaction. It's possible. It's possible. And it's not easy to find people of like minds, but I'm sure it is possible. It's possible. So can we take the next person?
So
yeah, thank you.
I will come
thank you.
Next to Felicitas. Please unmute and ask your question.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Dr. Obiora, for this wonderful section. So my name is Felicitas, and I'm into production of food mixes. Like, my product is I package food ingredients like our local food ingredients into different food mixes. Like, I have a egusi soup mix. Inside my egusi soup mix, you have basically everything you need to prepare your egusi soup. So all you just need to do when you get a pack of our products, you just open and cook, because everything is ready to cook form. We have ground egusi, ground pepper, both dry pepper, everything inside, both dehydrated vegetable. So my question is, because I've not done exportation before, so this is actually my first time in an exportation class. So there was one time I was able to connect with an African store in UK. So we got talking. They sent me an email that they want long partnership with me, and they listed other things that I need to do. I went on to do the aflatoxin test. They said they requested for an order. Then after that, I've been sending them emails. I've not heard from them again. They just, kept mute on me. So I want to ask if there is any way I can connect to buyers, because I know that my product would serve like Nigerians abroad, like students abroad who don't have time to, to start going to the market to buy this food ingredients individually or differently. You can just, once you just get a pack of our product, just for you to prepare your soup or your meal in 15 minutes or less than 20 minutes, and your soup will be ready. So I'm looking for how I can connect with, international stores and how to go about it, because I don't really know. I don't have any guidance. I don't have anybody. So that's why I joined the class also. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, there are African shops all over UK, US, and so many other countries. So it's a link up with Africa. See, like I said earlier, this processed food is not easy. It's not shipped in containers. the market is not defined, the prices are not quoted on the listing. So one thing that can help anybody who is doing that is ability to travel. If you're able to travel and you take some of your products along and then you sit, move around the African shops, I'm sure you can close a deal. I'm sure you can close a deal. I cannot tell why the companies that contacted you didn't move on, engage further. But the fact is that one way of making it easy is to find money and travel so that you can talk face to face with the African markets because you can't find them. And many a time they don't issue letter of credit. So you have to have, what some Nigerians have done is that one guy, he has a warehouse in Newark. So he will ship it to himself, he will go to US, clear it, and then give it to the people who are looking for it. So that is it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bjorn. So
Yeah.
we'll take the next question from Nuruddin Dayubu Ibrahim. Please go ahead.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Nuruddin. Please go ahead. We can hear you. Please, you have just 30 seconds to for the question.
My name is Nuruddin Ibrahim. I am the founder and CEO of Tango Ali Agribusiness Limited. So what I want to ask the doctor is there any issue exporting to some African countries like Libya, Egypt, and Morocco? So this is what I want to ask.
Can we take two questions and round up? Yeah, okay, sorry, network.
Yeah, so Olufunke Ayinde, please, that is going to be the last question for the day. Olufunke Ayinde, please unmute and ask your question.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Obiora, for your contribution. I have learned a lot. Having been a victim of exporting, abroad. Like you have said that most of us, our DNA does not work together because we don't really have like minds. I'd actually wanted to say that that can't there be a process whereby people that wants to export actually come together, to export. For my experience, what you have just said is just the truth, because most African shops, whether in the UK or in the US, they are not actually seeking to buy from us. From my experience, I realized that most of them are seeking to cheating us out of our businesses. Because one, like you said, that there is no price, you cannot actually fix a price, as per when you consider logistics, how you have put your packaging together, and even make it exportable to them. From my experience, somebody wanted to start an African shop and sent the list of those things we'll be needing to a community of women, because we were actually trying to package and export. We got those things, we exported. Like I said, we had issues with the freight forwarder, stealing money from us. Then even the African shops, till now, something that we have exported since last year, we have not received a dime, one kobo from the guy. One, we opened online store where, after having done all your due diligence, open an online store, we are seeing we uploaded our products to their B2B platform, you see your products live. How many stock you have, maybe for Gary or anything that you are selling, you can see. These people, they are selling and they are not remitting our money. Do you understand? I don't know what kind of due diligence you want to do, because I see Nigerians duping Nigerians when it comes to exports. So I don't know, how are we going to because I don't want most people to fall into this same trap. People will send you that they want to do an African shop, you know, and you look for people, you put things together. They will tell you that, don't worry, when we sell, we'll return your money. 1 year after, the person you sold to has not given you money. The freight forwarder making way with, and you see a lot of them like that. They will have Instagram page, they will have offices, they are freight forwarders, defrauding exporters, defrauding Nigerians. So as a man that has had experience and all that, how do you know? Because most of them, they are registered, they'll close down their shops. You see us going to their offices here in Lagos, they will tell their people to close down their offices, and they will run away, and you cannot trace them. And because somebody, a freight forwarder that introduced you to that kind of a freight forwarder, they are all working together. They know how to defraud us, and they allow time to pass, but knowing fully well that most of us, we cannot quickly, buy a ticket and go abroad. So how do we forestall all this, sir? Thank you, sir.
Okay, madam. It's a difficult question. It's a difficult. The food terrain is difficult. The food terrain is difficult. But I can see on the chat platform somebody who says that he's in Canada and he's telling the lady who had complained about exporting food items to reach out to him. So you can go to the chat platform and pick his email address and reach out to him. It is actually difficult. It is difficult because if you do due diligence, for example, if anybody mentions any of those guys where you are, you will tell them not to try. So we don't have time, but maybe we can connect on other platforms. Kenneth Odiambo, can you unmute and ask?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. First of all, I want to appreciate you for the detailed content that you have just delivered concerning the export program. I just have one concern, or rather a question regarding the program that you have taken us through today. Basically, in form of an inquiry, if we can have a well-established body that is in charge of export, for us to curb the issue that has been raised here concerning the frauds that are going on online, and maybe due to lack of trust for maybe the international export. Kindly, if we can have a well-established body to address this, we can appreciate so that we can actually do it smoothly without experiencing a lot of challenges as we currently do. Back to you, and thank you so much.
Well, I think in every country, I think you are from Kenya.
Yes.
I know that there's a Kenya Export Promotion Council. I also know that there's Nigeria Export Promotion Council. What we need to do if we want to survive in export is to privatize those export promotion councils. To privatize them, because they have huge opportunities, but they behave like civil servants. And unfortunately, they can do more than they are doing. They can do a lot more than they are doing. Because, I mean, what else? They have everything that they need, funds, they have the embassies, they can do a whole lot. So there will be no need for parallel bodies. But the fact is that if it's possible to privatize the export promotion agencies, Africa will do a lot better. We should.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Vera. Unfortunately, we won't be able to take further questions.
Thank you. If they send their question to you, you can share them with me. I'll send a reply to you.
Okay, that is perfect, sir. Yes, thank you so very much for the impactful session, and also for those that asked for your presentation. Once we receive it, we are going to share it across to every one of them. So thank you so much once again, Doctor, for the impactful session. There's a poll going on the screen. Please let's let's take our time to fill the poll. I can see just few persons have taken the poll. More than half of us are on this call haven't taken the poll. Please let's do well to take the poll. Also, there's also a link in the chat box that's actually it's actually a survey assessment that we are carrying out for exporters because we are able to provide technical assistance to exporters. So that survey is what we are using to determine what kind of technical support we are going to be providing. So if you are someone who is already exporting or intending exporter, do well to fill out that survey in the chat box. The link is in the chat box, and from there, when we get your response, we are going to reach out back to you with our solution that we come up with based on the advice we receive from the survey. So we truly appreciate Dr. Obiora. We appreciate you for your time, sir, and also for the valuable insights that you've shared with us on navigating logistics in international trade. I'm sure by now, every one of us now know that having a strong logistic management isn't just about numbers or figures. It's actually a very key thing in our operations, which enables us to have a smooth operation as well as to give customer satisfaction at the end of the day. And also, one key thing that doctor mentioned here today is always perform your due diligence. Don't just go ahead with someone blindly because he has a Instagram feed doesn't mean he cannot scam you. Having and LinkedIn profile doesn't mean he cannot scam you. Look for all official sources to make your verifications and due diligence. Doctor earlier made mention of an association for freight forwarders, made good use of it. And also for any other thing we've learned in this session, let's ensure to add them into our system. So before we round up, we'll be taking pictures with Dr. Obiora. Let's kind of turn on our videos so we can take beautiful pictures with Dr. When you want to reach out to him, you can attach the picture to your message to say, doctor, I was in this session, see me. We're here together, you can see yourself, I can see me in the picture. So please let every one of us turn on our video. I'm sure my team members are capturing the pictures already. And also do well to capture the pictures yourself so that you can use it, you can post on your social media page, tag us, tag doctor, share what you've learned into this session, let other people also learn from you. Please let's smile. I can see a lot of people are not smiling. Let's make it a very beautiful picture for everyone so we can easily make use of it in future. Okay, so with that we are going to release Doctor before we move to the next segment of this session. So let's release Doctor. Thank you once again, Doctor, and we wish you the very best as you head out from this session. Thank you so much, and we aim to connect with you soon again. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Please let's appreciate Doctor in the chat.
I'm glad to be here. Once it is export, you can wake me up from sleep. So in any way I can assist anybody, advisory, I'll do my best. I'll do my best. And
thank you so much.
I thank your company also for the great work that you're doing. And I'm available anytime you guys need me. So thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. We are honored. Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
All right.
So moving forward into this session, we will just briefly look into a minute, please. Okay, so the next thing now is to connect to AFC. So I can see that a lot of us are having challenges about knowing who are the right people we can connect with, who can we do businesses and the likes. Or if you are a member of our community, you won't have any of this channel because everybody you are connecting with on the platform, they are legit and real. So I'll just call on my colleague from the membership to briefly tell you about what the AFC membership is about and how you can get connected to it. Thank you. Over to you, membership.
Thank you, Bushra. So I'll just use the next 1 minute to talk about this. For those who are here to become members of the community, we've already said a lot about what we do at AFC, and most of the things we do is centered around creating opportunities and helping entrepreneurs to scale their businesses. As we can see on the screen, we We help entrepreneurs to access and strengthen their agribusinesses and market linkages as well. One of the examples is the scaling export program that we are implementing shortly. Also is we help entrepreneurs to prepare into African and global markets. We are also keen on creating resources for entrepreneurs. We have a designated resource page where entrepreneurs can leverage the opportunities we share in terms of funding opportunities, speaking opportunities, exhibition opportunities, event opportunities, and also capacity building opportunities. So if you're a member of the hub and you've not been utilizing these opportunities, you are missing out, as we have all this created for you on our designated members dashboard. And we have a community of over 7,000 members across 49 African countries. So you have the opportunities to network with other entrepreneurs in the agri-food space. And we also have a visibility aspect of our entrepreneurial community where we create the visibility for our entrepreneurs. We spotlight our entrepreneurs a lot. We have a comms department that helps with spotlighting entrepreneurs, sharing stories, sharing testimonials of our entrepreneurial journey, and also spotlighting our entrepreneurs through our designated social media handles, the AFC Instagram page, the LinkedIn page, and some other forms of recognition for entrepreneurs as well. So now to the point why we are here. For those who are here to become part of the community, all you have to do is to click on the website www.afchub and follow the instructions that you need to sign up. Once you click on join the community, you'll be taken to a designated membership page where you'll be asked some questions about your business profile, your personal information, and other related information we need for us to be able to verify your membership registration. Ensure that you click on submit after you've finished filling the form so that we can be notified that a registration has been indicated. Upon your submission of the form, you'll be given an ultimatum of 48 hours before we verify it, because as membership team, we need to vet all the information that you've filled in your registration form, and it usually takes about 24 to 48 hours for us to vet those things and get back to you. You'll be notified via email of your registration status. So for members who have been verified, you'll be taken to your designated membership dashboard where you can access all the opportunities that we share with our community members, and also a pool of our community members as well. You can network it. For you to be a member of the community, you have to either own an agri business or you work as a top management in your agri business. The agri business that you work or you own should be in existence for at least 6 months before joining the membership community. And we always emphasize that our potential members should have a social media presence where the activities that they do in the agri-food space is being shared and observed by everyone, as we also help our entrepreneurs to scale their businesses through visibility as well. Please note that membership is free, and we are open to receiving questions and communications via the membership email that will be dropped in the chat box for further membership related questions. Thank you, and over to you, Bishop.
Thank you so very much, Nusa. I'm sure by now, please, how many of us have joined our membership community? Kindly indicate, raise your hand, and if you are yet to join the community right now, hurry now to join the community. I guess my team members have already dropped the link on in the chat box. Make good use of it. And also, if you have any challenge along the way while trying to join the community, feel free to reach out to us. On our website, you can see a number. There's a number there. You can chat the number up on WhatsApp. And also, you can also send us an email. There's an email also attached that is displayed on our website. You can also reach out to us there. I can see some hand are raised. Do you have questions regarding our membership? Okay, so thank you for raising your hand to indicate that you are our members. Also, there's the marketplace on our website. Can you see what is showing on your screen? Once you are a member, you can upload your products here and people get to see it. It's even easier for someone outside of Africa to see your products and then get to message you to make inquiries and process purchase for your products. Thank you so much. So the next, so this is our last phase for the session. Connect with us, stay connected, don't miss out. We hold this session every month. This is an open export series. We've had past questions that I've talked about how to find international buyers, and also the contents you really want them to know more about. We've actually touched it in previous sessions. So at the end of this program, when we send you the thank you email that has the link to rewatch this session, do well to go through our YouTube page extensively so that you can find other sessions you feel that you missed out on and catch up with it. And also do it to stay connected. Ensure you join the next session. We'll be sending you the link to register for that. Ensure you attend also. It promises to be more insightful and impactful. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everyone.